This your main workspace.
This is my main workspace here, you know. So
Nice.
this is where I create everything, you know.
So I was trying to think. I did read some of your stuff online and all that. Was this something that you'd always had in the back of your mind that you'd love to be doing? Did it sort of come at you a surprise? You know.
Do you know what? I've always had a bit of a thing about making stuff, you know. And,
Right.
you know, growing up as a kid, it's not that we never had much. I never wanted for anything. But we grew up in a working class family, so you fixed everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we never had a bike like a rally born or anything like that. We
Right.
made our own bikes.
Yeah.
We went down St. Anne's Park and we crashed the shit out of them, you know what I mean? Because like all the posh kids had rally borners, you know. You know, but we made our own bikes and we were good at doing all sorts of stunts and these Franken bikes, you call them, you know.
Right.
Frankenstein bikes, you know. And I loved messing around with stuff. And when I got down to the Greystones, I fell in love with sea glass of all things, you know, because
CB Crass. You started out with the stones and the gems
I
you
started out
find.
with sea glass, you know.
Yeah.
Because I love the imperfection of it. I love the fact that where it comes from and the stories it has, you know.
Sure.
And then I started reading about sea glass and its different grades and you know what it might be like pyroclast. I've got jars of it all over the place, you know.
Yes.
And this is what really struck me.
And you evolved though to so many, different kind of strings to your bow. I don't know whether that all just happened organically, whether you sat down one day and said, I'm going to try a few things here. I love working with my hands. I love creating. Was it a plan or did it happen to you?
You know what? When I was up in Tiglin, right? What happened was, you have a little bit of time to yourself, and there's a lot for self-reflection. And there was a lot of this copper around the place. And what I done was I found this copper. I'll try and make it real, right? But I found this copper, and I got to have a relationship with God, because I tried everything to get sober. It didn't work, But when I met God, and it works. Like different things work for different strokes for different folks. But when I met God, that was it. And I started I found a way of making crosses.
Okay.
Out of copper.
Yeah.
And the lads on the program, we were all sitting there because we were all clutching on something, to try and get well. So then I started making these crosses out of copper, and the lads had put them onto their Bibles and all that. Because I was sat there saying, how can I make a cross with one piece of copper and not like three,
Right.
So with trial and error, I said, it can be done. So with trial and error, this is what I done, and this is the I haven't made one in so long, but just come back to you.
Well, you mentioned finding God or meeting God. Was that something that you knew was on the cards? Did you always have that as an option in the back of your head, or was Tiglin's environment just completely open you up to that possibility?
It was both. It was both, because come from a Catholic family, obviously,
Yeah.
I knew about God. Coming from a background of martial arts and practicing martial arts, I knew about spirituality. I knew about Buddhism, and I knew about Zen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I never really had a relationship with God. I never knew that I never knew his love, because I was always chasing stuff.
Right.
I was always chasing, a validation, and I was always chasing, love.
Was there a bit of, you're kind of somewhat afraid of what might, lay there if you kind of gave yourself over to such a thing? Because there is a sort of surrender involved in, you know what God's about, you know what it should be about, and yes, most people will fight it and just, look for other things to do.
And you're right there, because I fought it for years, because I tried to run on my own will, I tried to solve all the problems, because growing up I had this, call it a spade. I had this ego, because I was a really good martial artist,
Right.
I was a good fighter. I was a good teacher. I actually preferred teaching more than fighting.
Yeah.
But I loved martial arts. So when I, unbeknownst to me, fell into addiction, I was in total denial. I said, I'm not an addict.
Yeah.
But with that now, that identification now is not, because I don't, I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
I have different. I wear a few hats. I'm the youth worker for Tiglin, which I love to do, because it gives me a chance to reach out to kids. You know?
But I'm always thinking that when you find yourself, and in that sense that you kind of accept something that's been on your mind, something that is out there as an option. It can be quite a vertical feeling, like you're suddenly having to basically rebalance your entire ego and your life and what you thought was who you thought you were and what you wanted out of this world. Suddenly, maybe you could say it comes into focus, but I don't know whether there's any vertigo feeling, any sense of having to readjust your set for a few weeks or months.
I had to find myself.
Right.
I had to find out who I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't just like I felt like all I ever identified as was either a martial artist or an addict.
Right. Right.
Those two things.
Yeah.
And then, I got my self-esteem back. I found out who Conor Brown really was. That I'm not just. Yeah, I was in addiction, but I'm free from it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a martial arts teacher. That's not all I do. I'm a crafter. I'm a brother. I'm an uncle. I'm a youth worker. I'm a friend. Now I have that value in me.
I suppose I'm kind of hinting at the idea of a road to Damascus moment. Just that feeling of like, holy crap, this is great. This is where I belong. This is who I am.
Definitely. I mean, living in Greystones. I'm from Edenmore, the north side. We used to think, like you take a day trip at the Greystones. You wouldn't be living here because it's way out of me price range.
Well, it's expensive enough just to take a day trip here.
Yeah.
That's a month's rent somewhere else.
And that's the thing, I 4 years ago, I was on the streets begging for money, just to buy drinking drugs. And 4 years later, now here I am.
I'm guessing you could quite naturally when you came to Tiglin, there'd be a little wariness of this is a posh town, or these are not people that I can connect with. Did that take a while to kind of balance out, to find your place?
Yeah. It did, but you know what? Rise of the Cove, that helped me.
Yeah.
Because we opened up the gap to the whole community, not just for me, but for every other person that went through that house.
Right.
It meant that they could talk openly about their struggles and not be ashamed of it, because shame will keep you back.
Sure.
And so we were able to talk openly, and then that gap being bridged, between Carrigean and Rise of the Cove has helped me immensely. I had no shame in saying, I was in addiction, I was living on the streets, I drink 4 bottles a day, I smoked crack, I did all sorts of drugs.
Right.
And I'm 53 years old, I lived a life,
Yeah.
I was never an altar boy, but I mean, I lived a good life, and I had the unfortunate of falling into addiction, but that's alright. It's changing now. And it's changed through the community.
Yeah. It must have been a surreal thing to suddenly find yourself sitting amongst, well-to-do, happy swimmers who have a very different life than the one you have had, and yet you find you're all actually connected, or you find yourself kind of able to talk about, having that sort of ear to...
And you know what? Because that's, people coming from different backgrounds, from me, but I never felt out of place in this community.
Right.
I've never felt so welcome as I do now. I never felt like I belonged anywhere, and I've said this in loads of numerous interviews about the Greystones community, and I've never felt so welcome than I have here. And it's just, that's golden.
It is a perfect halfway house in many different ways. Just the location where you're at, obviously is very beautiful down by the cove, but then that mix of people that Rise brings in just opens up the world. Yeah, in a bigger way than if you were just there on your own and trying to figure out.
CB Crafts, right, was born out of my own personal journey of struggle, of addiction. CB Crafts is born because I take broken pieces of things, I take bits of wood, and I take all sorts of stuff. Stuff that people will throw away.
Right.
Stuff that people think it's useless. Because I felt thrown away. I felt useless. I felt worthless and discarded. I take all these different pieces and I put them together and I make something beautiful out of it,
Yeah.
And that's what it is, because God took me, because I was broken, I was worthless, I was in a bad way, I felt.
The detail on that's beautiful. Actually, just hold it up to the camera again, because the detail's pretty outrageously. Yeah, that's amazing. Really gorgeous. Yeah. And when it came to this, you know, sort of going beyond, I know you're making the cross there, but taking the leap to combine, you know, the various different wood and wire, and I know you've worked in other mediums too. Did that all sort of come very quickly? Was it trial and error for quite a few months? Or?
Definitely a trial and error. You know, like with any craft or artist, you got to look at what's your favorite kind of medium to work with. I've painted, you know, I've wrote, I've, you know, done all sorts of stuff. I just find it so therapeutic to be able to, you know, pull stuff apart and then put it back into place again, you know, and then you make from a piece of wire.
Nice.
A little cross, you know.
Lovely. Yes.
Yeah.
So your friends would have sort of noticed that this was a talent. Did you kind of recognize it early on that oh, you know what, I could do this and more?
Yeah. I did. I definitely felt like, hey, this is something that I can capitalize on. You know. I mean, I make it live now.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a small business, but it's helped me. You know. It's definitely helped me, and people know me. Yes, CD Crafts. You know.
Now I see my beautiful Apple phone is telling me that I'm low on battery. So I'm going to put up above. Now you're coming to the market for Christmas down in the boatyard.
Yeah.
You have all sorts of goodies there. We'll put a list above.
It's the Plaza Market, yeah.
Yes.
Market, yeah.
And that the fact that you know, people can obviously visit you there, but we'll also include an email and phone number to.
It's the angels that what I am really putting across, because this is a red U. And it's a healing. The people call it a healing wood, but I love it. I used to make the drifted angels.
Right.
Now I make them. I buy the wood in from Belmont to Maine. This is spalted beech and this is red yew.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, with the angels that I have.
Yeah.
Because we all have angels, and I know, being on the streets, I've had plenty of angels put me in the direction of Tiglin, and I still have angels today.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all through God. So these angels are very important to me, and I wrote this because of it, you know, experience the beauty of these unique Christmas angels.
Okay, I'm gonna put that up above, because I'm afraid where battery might go on us.
I'll give you
and I'll pop it up on text.